I'm Katelyn Lucas. I'm Executive Director of Elizabeth Fry Society, as well as the co-chair of the Aboriginal Standing Committee on Housing and Homelessness. It's working on the pathways to healing for individuals who are criminalized through the criminal justice system and who have been affected by the systemic discriminations and overall systemic issues that relate to their criminalization. Yeah, I think women overall make less money, first of all. And for many Indigenous women in particular, they're in a sort of a gap space where maybe they don't have their children in their care and they're trying to regain that custody and address the issues of intergenerational trauma. So there's not enough spaces in particular for single Indigenous women who don't have families, as well as the family sector is pretty stocked up with a number of people that need housing. So it's important because without housing, women are left in a more vulnerable position, particularly in homelessness. Well, a lot of factors, including limited housing on nations. So more and more people are migrating to the city. I would say that women are the primary caregivers, often for their children, living way underneath the poverty line. Then you have the intergenerational trauma that affects most Indigenous people in some way or the other. And we have these symptoms of, substance abuse, violence, and other contributors that affect stability of housing. And overall, I would think that, there is a bit of that NIMBYism and systemic discrimination that affects Indigenous people from getting housing, particularly mothers on welfare. Landlords are not really wanting to rent, and particularly when they have a load of children. If they have many children, they're concerned about the damages that could be done to the house. So all of those things are contributors for them in their lack of stability in housing. But I think it's also one of the reasons that they are also more likely to become criminalized. And if you look at the retail stores, they often say that there's 2 times a year where they see increased shoplifting, for example. And that's when children are going back to school and Christmas time, right? And those are, the impacts of poverty-driven criminalization in particular, right? And I think the other factor would be just, the lack of sustainable income. Right now we have huge inflation for food and housing, and to be able to sustain that on something like social assistance or a minimum wage job is almost impossible. Any little thing that goes wrong is going to affect the stability of housing.